I think hospitals lose their protection if militants operate out of them, and it seems like there's evidence to suggest that militants operate out of them.
What evidence would that be?
No, they did the Al-Shifa raid, and like when they arrest these people, I think they basically arrest everyone, which I think is probably bad. But then my understanding is that they only retain the ones that they believe are militants, and I think there's probably evidence that they're militants, unless you think they're just arbitrarily detaining them indefinitely in the Gaza.
Well, they're also not doing it to everybody that they claim are militants. Like for example, currently the director of Kamal Adwan Hospital,
Dr. Hassam Abu, who CNN says was released. Do you think Hamas respects the rules of like insignia and stuff?
They don't have to, like by international law.
But an occupation lawfully created in self-defense, you can't even lawfully resist that. What do you mean?
Lawfully?
What is the reading at 242?
First of all, they didn't like withdraw from their occupations.
From the Sinai?
3 territories.
Wait, who owns the Sinai right now? Wait, who owns the Sinai? Hamas has admitted to using ambulances, is my understanding from the Goldstone report. I'm pretty sure even the Goldstone report says that.
Yeah, there's not evidence of that during this war. Wouldn't that be a perfect piece to make public, actually?
Well, they make like stuff go public, but people still just like lie about it. Like, they tried to make some of the aid going into Gaza public, and people still just like lie. People still like show all the trucks lined outside of Rafah and say, "Oh, look, Israel is blocking the trucks." They're just lying. They've already gone through the Israeli checkpoint.
Well, are 500 trucks getting in a day?
I think 500 is a meme number because UNRWA changed how they measured stuff. I don't think that. If you want to see more content like this, I would really appreciate you liking and subscribing. It really helps with the algorithm. And make sure to check out the Discord and other social links in the description.
Have you changed your mind on what?
About this or about Israel, I'm assuming?
No, about something completely different. I'm here to take over your stream.
Oh, okay.
Have you changed your mind on Israel-Palestine?
Not a ton.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Did you say, oh, no?
I did.
So, Nonfon, how do you feel about the targeting of hospitals?
I mean, I think hospitals lose their protection if militants operate out of them, and it seems like there's evidence to suggest that militants operate out of them.
What evidence would that be?
Evidence that Israel provided that like there were tunnels stationed near these, and that there were.
Wait, but they haven't shown tunnels connected to hospitals.
I think they've showed tunnels stationed near hospital. Wasn't there that one near Al-Shifa? I don't know if it was directly underneath it.
Yeah, but it was like not on the hospital grounds, no entrance on the hospital grounds, none of that. When they went and raided the hospital. So do you have like other examples of evidence?
The link. Well, I haven't.
I know you weren't prepared. I'm giving you a little bit of leeway because you weren't prepared.
Sure.
But
like this is the what's the evidence that like this isn't like a tunnel near the hospital? The Reuters link I just provided.
Oh, I'm not in your chat. Hold on. Let me pull your chat back up.
Well, I sent it in the stream room chat, like in the VC like chat box, like the side chat.
Oh, there's chats in this thing. And again, I didn't say that there weren't any near. I said there was any on the hospital ground.
Well, I guess
there's nothing accessible on the hospital ground.
The last time I looked into it,
dug a hole to a tunnel.
Well, the last time I looked into it was the Al-Shifa hospital when that was like being targeted or whatever. I haven't looked into the other ones, but I think this is a tunnel that was reportedly near Al-Shifa, and I think there's I know they've done other hospitals too, but there were like I know they did the Al-Shifa raid, and like when they arrest these people. I think they basically arrest everyone, which I think is probably bad. But then my understanding is that they only retain the ones that they believe are militants, and I think there's probably evidence that they're militants, unless you think they're just arbitrarily detaining them indefinitely in the Gaza.
Well, they're also not doing it to everybody that they claim are militants. Like for example, currently the director of Kamal Adwan Hospital is detained, as well as the.
I thought he was released.
No, he's currently in statism, which is like the notorious torture prison. The one with the video of the guy getting raped.
What did you say the guy's name was?
Dr. Nassar, Or Hussam, sorry. Hussam.
Hassam Abu?
Hassan Abu something. But if you search
Dr. Hassam Abu, who
Hussam.
CNN says was released.
When did they say that? Because we looked at stuff saying today he was released.
It says December 30th, so 2 days ago it says it was released.
Yeah, he got... Wait, what did you say?
It says 2 days ago.
Link it.
I linked it in the... I'm linking everything in the side chat here.
I keep forgetting... Yeah. I don't know how to open this shit. Hold on.
Are we in agreement that he is released now? We're not in agreement.
Hold on.
I mean, I think they're... Well, even if we don't agree, this guy's released. There are,
He
like,
has
the
not
El
been seen
Shifa...
publicly since they arrested him.
El Shifa, I know they released. El Shifa...
Well, yeah, Al Shifa, yes, because Al Shifa happened like fucking 7-8 months ago or something like that.
Well, sure, I guess, like, if... My understanding is that they do arrest everyone, but then they only release people who aren't militants. Or if you say aren't militants, but officers or whatever the fuck.
How long does it take to determine that a doctor isn't a militant?
Well, there probably are doctors that are militants. I don't think Hamas respects the rules of...
Well, the claim that they arrested him on wasn't even that he was a militant.
Well, I think my understanding is that... Well, I don't think Hamas... Do you think Hamas respects the rules of, like, insignia and stuff?
They don't have to, like, by international law. They don't have to wear a uniform.
My understanding is that even organized armed groups have to wear insignia.
Not when you're fighting the occupation. You don't.
An occupation lawfully
Militias
created
don't
in
have
self
to wear
wait,
the insignia.
but an occupation lawfully created in self-defense. You can't even lawfully resist that. What do you mean?
Lawfully?
What is the reading of 242? What does 242 say?
Time
UN
and time again, the UN has stated that this is an unlawful.
That's great.
occupation.
That's not binding. What is UN? UN Resolution 242 probably isn't binding either. But what's the?
None of it's actually binding.
Well, yeah. Well, what's the? So UN Resolution
You the one who said it
242.
was lawful. Not lawful.
Me?
Yeah, you said resistance to a lawful occupation.
Yeah, I don't think
Where-
you can resist to a lawful occupation.
Yeah, it's not lawful though. That's the thing.
Well, I disagree. I think you can probably lawfully create an occupation of self-defense, and I think this is probably a case of lawful occupation.
Is all of the occupation of Palestine lawful? Do you think?
What do you mean? All? I think they do actions like building settlements, which are illegal, but I do think the occupation itself is probably legal, even in Gaza. Even if I can see Gaza has been occupied post 2005, pre October 7th.
So you think the West Bank occupation is lawful,
Probably.
even though like the UN has established that it is an unlawful occupation?
When did the UN establish this?
Here, let me
In a
find
binding
it.
thing or in a non-binding?
No, nothing they do is fucking binding.
Yeah, so
When
I
it
guess,
comes
like,
to Israel,
my argument would be like the language of 242 is not consistent with the idea that occupation is unlawful, and that's an actual Security Council resolution. I don't know. There might be like advising opinions on other things, but like the UN Resolution 242 says that Israel's withdrawal from territories occupied, which it doesn't specify these, so it probably doesn't mean all the territories occupied, just some of them. They already withdrew from the Sinai. And B, it says it's contingent upon Arab recognition and respect for Israel. If an occupation is unlawful, your first obligation is to stop it without any negotiations whatsoever. Considering this explicitly requires negotiations, I don't see why we would assume it's unlawful.
first of all, they didn't like withdraw from their occupations.
From the
They're
Sinai?
occupying 3 territories.
Wait, who
right
owns
now.
the Sinai right now? Wait, who owns the Sinai?
No, I said they're occupying 3 territories right now.
Right, right. So
didn't
what
say
is you?
the Sinai.
So you're aware 242 doesn't say
I'm
to
saying they
withdraw.
didn't
Wait,
withdraw from their occupied territories.
not from all of them. But does 242 require them to withdraw from all the territories occupied?
You can make the argument either way. People have made the argument either
Yeah,
way.
right. Okay, so I mean, the drafters of the resolution didn't want them to withdraw from all of them. They specifically wrote territories occupied and not the territories occupied to avoid that. But
Dude, that is such a fucking bitch argument. They didn't put the word "the" in there.
specifically
from
to
occupied
avoid.
territory.
to es-
If they didn't want to fucking leave like the West Bank, they would have put that in there. They could have just said that, but they didn't. They said fucking leave occupied territories.
They said leave
occupied,
territories
occupied territories.
Wait, the drafters
Yeah,
have
leave
explicitly
territories
said
occupied.
the drafters have explicitly said that they didn't include that word because because they didn't want Israel to withdraw
Yeah,
from
they
all the
left the
territories.
word "the" out.
Yeah.
They would have just said.
went on
They would
record.
have just said they don't need.
What's
to leave
the
West
argument
Bank.
that they should withdraw from the Sinai and that they should not withdraw from the Golan?
Well, Israel gave them recognition, right? Syria's never done that. Or sorry, Egypt gave them recognition. Also, I think they probably
By
should
that
withdraw.
wait,
from
wait.
the
By that
Golan Heights,
logic, they should withdraw from all the Palestinian territories.
well, I
Every
don't,
major
there's never
Palestinian
been.
group has recognized Israel's existence
never
and that
been-
it will continue to exist.
I should have specified recognition and like. There's been final settled negotiation between Israel and Egypt. That's never happened with
You're right.
Syria.
Final
That's
settled
never happened.
negotiation, and then Israel went in and killed Egyptian soldiers. But final settled negotiation. You're right.
Well, but Egypt and Israel are at peace, right? For the most part, like there's not high intensity.
Yeah, I mean,
conflict
give
the way there is.
Palestine $10 million of American money and say make peace, and they'll probably cede territory as well. Sorry, 10 million is probably an understatement, but
Right.
I mean that's what it was. We bought Israel out, or we bought Egypt out.
Well, I think Nasser, wanted to sign peace with Israel because he wanted peace with the U.S. as well. Also, here's the stuff from 242. I think there's like one quote in here that like the 67 lines are a rotten line that they never. Yeah, we could have said, well, you
Or
go
what?
back to well, this is what one of the drafters said. We could have said, well, you go back to the 1967 line, but I know the 1967 line, and it's a rotten line. Like they did not want Israel to go back to 67. Like they literally called it a rotten line.
Why is it a rotten line?
Yet that's still
That sound like
currently
an
the
unbiased
internationally recognized actual borders. Or no, sorry, that's not. That was a lie. That was a stupid thing to say. I was mistaken.
Okay. Well, I don't know if the 67 lines are necessarily a rotten line. I'm just providing evidence that the drafters of 242 did not want Israel to withdraw from all the territories occupied.
You're quoting
they
one person.
worded
I
the-
asked you if that sounded like an unbiased person.
Well, they wrote 242. They what do you mean? Here's another quote from a different person. I myself knew very well the 1967 boundaries, and if we had put the or all the, that could have meant that we wished to see the 1967 boundaries perpetuated in the form of a permanent frontier. This I was certainly not prepared to recommend. Like, these people wrote 242, and they all say they didn't want Israel to go to the 67 lines again. Like,
Okay, wait. Let's get back to like the current situation because that's what I came in to talk to you
sure,
about.
great, okay.
So you've already tried to justify the siege of hospitals, whatever. You've shown your colors there.
Wait, hold
what-
on. Do you agree that
No,
if there
wait, I
are...
have a
Wait,
question, I have a
wait. I had to clarify that.
I have a question,
Do you
yeah.
agree that if militants are operating at or near hospitals, then you can target that hospital?
Near? No.
Well, near, I mean,
That's the
near
problem here,
if it
is the
requires...
answer is
Wait, hold on.
consistently near, but not on the hospital grounds, and yet the invasion of the hospitals continues.
Okay,
That
well,
is
wait,
the
hold on.
problem.
Hypothetically, okay, if there's a tunnel near a hospital, right, and you recognize that striking that tunnel is going to cause some level of damage to the hospital, do you think you can ever lawfully strike that hospital? Or strike
Airstrike
the strike the
I'm
tunnel
assuming you're
and do
trying
damage to the hospital?
Strike that tunnel.
Strike the
Yeah,
tunnel. And
you can't airstrike that tunnel. No.
never?
Also, the majority of the bombs that are being dropped are not strong enough to actually damage the tunnels. The damage to the tunnel happens when the IDF comes in on the ground, which can be done off of hospital grounds because the entrances and exits are off of hospital grounds.
But it was the hypothetical. My understanding is that a strike can't be permitted even if it causes some collateral damage to the hospital nearby, just because they're operating near a
that's
hospital.
the problem is that that's not what's happening. That's
well,
what I'm
but
pointing.
you
That's
would
what I'm
agree,
saying, is that
which you
that's
can see the
not what
hypothetical
happened.
though.
Okay, you would have to prove that, first of all, and you're supposed to actually be able to show this prior to the strike, which is very important and never done by Israel. But you're supposed to be able to show prior to the strike that it is a meaningful base of operations of some sort, whether that be like a fucking command center, whether that be like a launching point, whatever the fuck, right? You have to show that it's a meaningful fucking base of operations. Israel has never done this, and also never done it after the fact. They've never been able to show evidence for this after they go and siege a
Well,
hospital.
I don't think they don't have to show evidence to make to the public to make it lawful.
They don't. They're supposed to be able to. And from everything that they have shown, they would not be able to.
These are war crimes.
You're supposed to have the evidence that you would be able to.
Way
Not that
far
you
off.
have
I'm
to
aware. They
release
also
it
say if they
publicly before
use
you
it as a
bring
base, it
hospital.
loses
That's
the
not what I'm saying.
protection.
But like you're supposed to have the evidence to be able to do this, and they consistently have never shown anything of the sort.
I'm not convinced that's the case, but I'm pretty sure Hamas has admitted to using schools. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we have evidence that they have used schools, at least abandoned schools, as
yeah, abandoned schools. The IDF has also used abandoned schools. Yes, the abandoned schools are not an issue. I don't have an issue with the abandoned schools.
Okay.
So what I was actually gonna ask you is like, so
I'm pretty
if
sure
the
even,
IDF is
well, hold on.
gonna
There was that 2008 Amnesty International report that I did think said used Hamas Hamas used El Shifa as an interrogation site, right?
I don't remember the report off the top of my head, but if that happened, it's bad. Like, yes.
Okay. Well, you would recognize the hospital would lose some amount of protection, right?
Yeah, but it wouldn't lose it forever. I mean, even if you use it
Well,
as
no,
an
not
interrogation,
forever,
depends on
no.
how much you're doing and how many patients there are.
Well, I don't think it's
Like, if
no,
you have
I don't think
1,000
it's-
patients and one guy being interrogated, that's not grounds to fucking airstrike a hospital, for example.
Well, it
you
would
know?
be it would be disproportionate to strike that hospital, but I think you still could be argue it's
I don't
lawful
think that's
to strike
grounds that
that
you
one person.
should strike that hospital.
Well, sure.
We don't have to talk about
Well,
the
I
lawful.
think
Like, let's
it-
talk about should.
Well, even lawful, it would probably still be disproportionate, but should maybe not. But
This actually ties into what the question I was going to ask you.
okay.
So if the IDF is going to do a strike,
Mhm.
and let's say they have one Hamas militant in their fucking sites, okay, and they want to kill that one Hamas militant, how many civilians do you think they should be able to accept as collateral?
One like low-level Hamas militant.
Yeah, just like a normal militant.
I don't know. I wouldn't have an exact number. Maybe 5 to 10.
Just like a range, even 5 to 10. Currently, it's 20. What about for a general?
A general? I don't know. A general, you could probably do a lot. I don't have an except. Also, I think the thing you're quoting for 20
range.
isn't that's not just any Hamas militant. That's a low-level officer, I think. But because I read that too. I don't know. I
What
think
for a general? What
I would
you
say
guess is a range.
I don't know, 10 to 20.
It's 100.
Okay.
This is the current targeting guidelines
Okay.
of Israel, the acceptable guidelines of Israel. These are guys that you are saying are like doing fine, maybe doing some fucky shit.
Well, you could
sometimes,
argue that's
but this is
disproportionate.
the targeting guidelines
Well, you
for
could argue
any
that's
strike.
You could argue that's disproportionate, but that kind of precludes the possibility of them targeting civilians, right? If they explicitly say when you target a militant, you can only kill so many civilians, they're probably not targeting civilians. They're just killing people in excess of
No, it's
the
just like
direct
when
and
they
concrete
target. They don't
military
always
gain.
target the civilians. Like there's a video coming out today of a fucking ambulance getting airstrike. Like, come on, ambulance on
Hasn't
route
Hamas
to
admitted to using ambulances? Didn't even the Goldstone report say that?
in the past. There's no evidence.
Oh,
of it
okay.
during the war.
Yeah, why would we assume that they're still doing it? But
And it's ambulances en route to Israeli strike sites. Also, Israel accuses any fucking doctor basically of being Hamas because the doctor has
then
to
why
work
do they
with the
release
government.
them?
What?
Why do they release them? They arrest them all
They also
and then
killed
they
them.
release
There was
them.
a doctor that was killed in Statham a couple months ago.
Is that the one of the prisons?
Yes, Statham is the notorious prison, the one with the guy that got raped on camera.
I mean, you'd have to prove that probably, to be clear, my position is that Israel's never committed a war crime because they are saints. But like, you have to prove more than that they killed one doctor after arresting him than to make the like strong claim that
I'm
like
giving
Israel
it
is like
as an
targeting.
example. They've killed over 1,000 healthcare workers.
Well, yeah, but that
5% of the healthcare workers in Gaza they've killed.
Do you think that's a war crime automatically?
No, I'm not saying it's automatically a war crime. What I'm saying is that there's a trend here. It's like around 2% of the population of Gaza has been killed.
Well, yeah,
5%
but
of
like the
healthcare
relative
workers have
risk
been
is like 35.
I mean, everyone's under relative risk because the entire strip is being bombed. But
Well, do you know what the
the
relative
only
risk
reason
is?
that the healthcare workers are actually at greater risk is because Israel is attacking healthcare facilities and double tapping with their bombs. These are both things that
Wait,
Israel
hold
can
on.
stop.
Do you know what relative risk is?
Yes, but what I'm saying is that the healthcare workers are at higher risk specifically because of those two actions. The siege of the hospitals and the double tapping that Israel does. They also did this in Lebanon.
Well, again, I haven't followed any of the things since El Shifa, but my understanding is we have good evidence to believe that Hamas does, at least sometimes, use hospitals. Again, like Hamas has admitted to using ambulances, is my understanding from the Goldstone report. I'm pretty sure even the Goldstone report says that.
Yeah, there's not evidence of that during this war.
Well, they probably haven't made it public, but I don't know why we would assume they just stopped all of a sudden.
Wouldn't that be a perfect piece to make public, actually?
I don't know. Israel's bad at propaganda, but like they try to make stuff public, but people
they're really
still,
good. They've gotten basically the whole Western governance.
Well, they make like stuff go public, but people still just like lie about it. Like they tried to make some of the aid going into Gaza public, and people still just like lie. People still like show all the trucks lined outside of Rafah and say, "Oh, look, Israel is blocking the trucks." They're just lying. They've already gone through the Israeli checkpoint.
Well, are
once they reach
500
Rafah.
trucks getting in a day?
I think 500 is a meme number because UNRWA changed how they measured stuff. I don't think that. I think there's like 100 to. Well, yeah, because I think that's one. I think you have to multiply it by 5/7 because it's being inflated by 7/5 because UNRWA measures the weekday average of trucks getting in. So you have to multiply it by 7/5 to get rid of that, and then B, previously they were including like animal feed and stuff, and now they're not doing that anymore.
I mean, there's still animals there. But ultimately, the answer is there's less trucks getting in and there's more aid needed. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, hold on, I'm reading. But but previously trucks were carrying other things than just food. Anyway,
other things than just food are still needed. You realize people are currently living in tents that are flooded with a foot of water. Some building supplies are still needed.
Well,
people still do have animals.
Well, sure, but usually we're talking about famine when we say that. But
these things are all still needed. That's what I'm pointing out to you.
Okay, wait.
They were able to get 500 trucks in a day on average. That is
okay. Pre-war, the baseline for food transportation was about 150 to 180 per day, using like the proper figures. I can send you what I didn't prepare for this. So I can send you like what I'm reading. They inflate this again, or UNRWA does. I'm not saying intentionally, but like because they use a working day average. For UNRWA-based weight of aid estimates, the authors use pallets to calculate the weight. I'm assuming this guy or someone pretty close to this guy is what you're quoting off of when you say the 500 trucks a day thing. So
there's lots of sources saying 500 trucks a day on average. But I mean, even if you do that at weekdays, we're still nowhere close to that. First of all.
Well, yeah, because again, you also have the issue of
you understand that there is a higher level of need for these 2.3 million people, maybe 2 million now. There's a higher level of need. There are less trucks getting in. Israel was able to clear these trucks beforehand. What happened?
I don't know how many less trucks are getting in.
Even the U.S. says that Israel is preventing it.
Yeah, Anthony Blinken also. I saw the leaked Anthony Blinken memo that just lies. But to be clear, I don't think Israel's always led an adequate. The Anthony Blinken memo did lie, yes. But to be clear, I don't think Israel's 100% of the time let enough aid in. But I think generally, aid has been flowing in at above famine levels. To answer like Gorps, I think the pre-war baseline was closer. I think the pre-war baseline was about 150 to 180, and I think about that much is still getting in.
I'm not even making the famine claim. I'm saying not enough aid is getting in.
Wait, I mean, I'm not. Not enough aid
what
for
I'm
what?
saying is that there's not enough aid getting in
Not enough aid to
to
do what?
support sustainable life.
To support a sustainable life. What is?
So you need food, you need
Mhm.
medical aid, you need water, you need building supplies because they're currently dying of hypothermia in flooded tents.
I don't know if the hypothermia.
And also the
thing
biggest
was
problem in
true,
Gaza is it
but-
getting to the north, which is currently under complete fucking siege.
Well, I think that
which was
complete siege
expanded, like,
quote
yesterday.
was. It was expanding. Yes, I think the complete siege quote was, well, militants were like still in Israel and they wanted to secure the north, but my understanding
were still in
they
Israel?
did.
Wait,
you
wait,
know,
wait,
they
wait,
have
wait,
let
wait,
aid
wait.
into the north, right? Like we have videos of aid going.
Very, very little. 400,000 people estimated. I think actually like 300,000 now. Is the estimated amount of people in the north, and less than 50 trucks.
Okay, well, here's a video of 145 humanitarian trade ducks entering on October 15th of this year. So I don't like. This is, by the way, this was after I think the U.S. pressured them to, because I agree they weren't letting in enough aid in early October, and I think we made them.
Where those aid trucks go?
To the north.
And were they sustained at that level?
At least for some amount of time. If you're saying they need, if there's 300,000 people, I'm assuming 145 trucks is probably enough for that.
A day? It's not a day. That's the problem.
But this was on one day.
That's not a
I
constant
think.
number. The
Well, I think
North
it's
has received
been relatively
less than 50 aid trucks in the last 2 weeks.
What's
There's
the
also
source for that?
video, like 3 weeks ago, of an aid truck that did get to the North, getting
Hold on,
burned
hold
by
on,
the
wait.
IDF.
What's the
There was a
source
school
for?
in the north that was delivered, I want to say 3 aid trucks, that then the IDF bombed the school and then burned the aid.
Hold on, what's the source for the aid truck number you're using? Are you using UNRWA?
I'm using compilation things. I can find you a source real quick.
Again, UNRWA suffers from the issues I mentioned.
December 23rd, France 24 said 12 aid trucks delivered aid in northern Gaza since October.
They said 12 aid trucks since October. That could be true. I don't have evidence.
Here, I can send you the France 24 link if you want.
It's air pallets too. We do airdrops as well, but
there you go. There's the France 24 one for you if you want to look at it.
it's from Oxfam. Oxfam reported Sunday.
You remember the 30-day that the U.S. gave Israel to stop preventing aid? Remember the report that they issued after that 30 days that said that Israel had even worsened the situation?
Yeah, I think that report isn't even true. From what I remember from the...
It's not even true. We're talking about the U.S. here. We're talking about the Israel's ally. Not even the U.S. will say that Israel isn't preventing aid, especially from northern Gaza. You want to go by, humanitarian rights agencies or the actual fucking people trying to get the aid in, like whoever you talk to, like you want the fucking count trucks yourself or whatever. Apparently,
there's a UN report at the end of December that a joint UN convoy of 9 trucks successfully reached people in Beit Hanun, who had been cut off from aid for over 75 days. World Food Program has put in 101 requests to deliver food to areas of Gaza's north. Since the 6th of October, only 3 have been approved. If you'd like to link to that one, I can send that as well. It's a UN link.
Well, again, are they just using the UNRWA numbers?
No, they cited World Food Program. And they're talking about aid to Beit Noon in the first part, and they cited the World Food Program numbers. UNRWA is the largest aid organization in Gaza. However, they are not the only ones providing aid in
Yeah,
Gaza.
but UNRWA is supposed to track all the trucks going in, right? They don't just track theirs. I think they also track
Yeah, but
private
this
trucks.
is using the individual numbers. First, the numbers getting to Beit Noon, and then the World Food Program numbers.
Yeah, it's just
as
it's just the World Food Program numbers are only going to have the World Food Program trucks, right?
Yeah,
Not
look at the
gonna have-
percentage of denials.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of denial, but it doesn't necessarily follow that there's not enough trucks getting in. That doesn't.
I gave you an example of a city in the north that hasn't had aid for 75 days. I gave
Well, yeah,
you the denial
again,
rate of the World Food
this
Program.
was my position
I gave
that
you
Israel
a link
is
saying
always-
how many trucks had gotten into northern Gaza since October.
Again, my position wasn't Israel has always let in enough aid. I do think that they haven't let enough aid into the north at sometimes. That's why we started airdropping food to begin with. But I think in general, enough aid has been brought in to avoid famine conditions. Is my position. That's been my position.
In the north?
I guess in the north, I believe in general, I believe so. But I haven't seen the data specifically for the north. But it's also less people in the north because they told them to evacuate, right? So
I just showed you the data for the north.
well, it's just 75 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not incoherent with my position.
400,000 people.
That's not incoherent with my position.
300
That
as of like a week ago.
that's not incompatible with my position. That generally enough aid has been let in to avoid famine. It's possible that they weren't
I'm
allowed
asking
aid.
you a question about the north.
What about?
I'm not asking you about your. First of all, I never made the fucking famine claim.
Why not?
Now
I'm
I
explaining
guess
to
I
you
am
my
asking
position.
just to expand on your claim to the north.
Expand on my claim in the north.
Yeah, like you were the one claiming there's not the possibility of famine in Gaza. I'm asking you to expand it. Do you believe that for northern Gaza?
For northern, I'm basically agnostic on northern Gaza. My claim for northern Gaza would just be, I don't think I think prior to October 16th or whatever, they definitely were not letting in enough aid. I know that for sure. But I'm like basically agnostic when it comes to northern Gaza. I don't know the data for it specifically.
12 aid trucks for 400,000 people since October.
Since that
You're agnostic.
What is that? Well, I don't know enough because I don't know where is that 12 private aid trucks and not counting the airdrops and not multiplying it by
There's
7
not
or
airdrops
5
in the
and
north. The airdrops are in the Amawasi area.
have there been airdrops in the north? I'm fairly confident there at least have been airdrops.
The
in the
U.S.
north.
airdrops have not been in the north. The other countries doing airdrops, I don't believe have airdropped in the north since like July.
Okay.
You don't even have to admit that what I'm saying is correct, given what I am saying. What's your opinion on that? What do you think about the situation in the north?
In the north, it would be, well, yeah, they're not getting enough aid in. Like,
Would you say that's famine-like conditions, or could be?
I don't. It could be, yeah. I don't know enough. I don't know how. I don't know how. What the number? Do you think the number of trucks entering Gaza to avert famine is 500?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking about your
Okay.
position of the north, given that it's 12 trucks and not all of those are food.
Well, 12 trucks. I mean, to me, that sounds like not enough, but I don't know.
Okay. I was just looking for you to admit like something relatively concrete. Last question. Do you think Israel's targeting journalists?
I would lean towards no, but I'm not familiar with all the claims of them targeting journalists. So I'd say like there's that one incident like 2 years ago at this point, right? Shireen or whatever. I mean, clearly they intentionally killed her. I don't think that's disputable. But there's other cases like as has happened in Gaza before, where like journalists have flown a drone in an active combat area And yeah, the IDF assumes that drone is a hostile force and, figures out where it's coming from and bombs the truck flying the drone. That's not, obviously that's a bad outcome, but I don't think that's necessarily unlawful for them to do. And that doesn't indicate them targeting journalists.
Okay. I said last question, so I don't want to keep you from your stream for longer. I will leave you with something. And that is, one, you should look more into the situation, especially in Northern
What are you
Gaza.
doing January 30th? Give me 30 days.
Give you
Wait,
30
that's not
days,
even a
what day of the
January
week is-
30th. I don't know.
I don't know. We can talk on February 1st. How about that?
Sure.
Cool. It's planned. Now I'm going to call you a pussy if you don't show up. And
I'll
if
show
Casey
up.
shows up, he's getting banned.
And from what?
Everything.
Hmm.
Dude, I haven't sparked the drama in a while. I have to keep it going.
Based.
Okay. I'll leave you to get back to your shit. Learn more about
Gorps,
Palestine.
what's your opinion on the H-1B1 or H-1B visas?
I think that we need H-1B visas. We have too many retarded people in America. We have to import smart people if we want to do anything.
Based. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Ooh.
Hell yeah. Just got another video out of that. Hell yeah.
Out of what? You
Out of me arguing
no,
with
you-
Gorps.
Israel Palestine? What? Or
Out of me what? Yeah, arguing with
I'm
Gorps.
saying you don't know about?
It's free YouTube
was-
content. Do you think I have an issue with uploading a debate that I don't know stuff about?
I wouldn't upload it.
It's free views. If you want to chat with me live, sub here or go to Nonfon420 on Twitch or Kick via the links below. Once again, please like and sub to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support me, and I'll make sure to reply to any question you ask. See you guys next time.